Glory to Jesus Christ. My name is Bishop Nectarios, and today we're going to take a walk through our ancient faith. Hey everybody! So, I owe you a couple of videos because I took a little bit of a break. This is the second one I'm putting out. And on this one, I wanted to address the topic that I only barely skimmed over on the last video. Foolhardy displays is what I'm talking about. Tough guy shit. Pardon the French. And why do I bring this up? It's because almost always I see some guy that is chesting up and acting tough and making noise and racket and expending a lot of energy trying to make themselves appear dangerous or maybe aggressive. I don't know. It looks stupid to me. So I don't really take much of an effort to try to look at it and explain. And a lot of the time they're making that noise to try to let people know that they are not to be screwed with, that they are not a victim. And I get you. But the problem is that behavior is a lot of energy and it doesn't work. With all that noise, and it's a young man's game, and anyone who's actually dangerous or about that business is quiet. They're in the background. They're keeping an eye on things. They're not the kind of guys that run around making a lot of noise, drawing attention to themselves. So anyone who's actually understanding of this stuff knows that you might be a little bit tough, but you're not what you say you are. Our life, our society encourages us to dress flashy and flamboyant and talk big and puff ourselves up and act arrogant and conceited and like we're something special. What's wrong with just admitting that you're a nobody? That it's okay to be a nobody. I'm a nobody. I got no problem with that. Right now, I could accomplish the greatest, most impressive defeat of business anyone's ever seen, whatever that might look like. And I would still be a nobody, even if I was a somebody, because I've just let go of something that does not matter. The idea that you have to be a somebody, that you have to be a tough guy, that you have to be a smart guy, that you have to be the man with all the answers until you don't have any answers, and you have people looking at you and you have to admit, I don't know. Whatever it is, whether you are a big brain guy and you got to push your intelligence in everyone's face, whether you are a man that is violent and your game is making everyone aware that you're violent, whether you're the kind of guy who's very successful at his job and you like making someone who's not as successful as you feel like garbage because you are driven and you can do this and you can do that. The arrogance and the conceit that goes along with this kind of behavior ruins people. It ruins you. And it mainly makes people say, this guy's a jerk. I don't want to have anything to do with him. And over time, people will just start to leave you alone. They will start to isolate themselves from you because who wants to be around that? And I say it's a young man's game to act like this, but in reality, I'm starting to see older and older people do it. It always stems from insecurity. It stems from someone who has to feel like they are something they're not. What would be the loss if you said, I'm just a regular guy? I'm not a super this, I'm not a super that. I'm not tough. I'm not too tough. I'm not too smart. I'm just a regular guy. I'm smart enough and I'm tough enough. I am okay. But that's not quite what our society encourages us to do, is it? Our society keeps encouraging us to act like somehow we are the hot commodity. In reality, they've seen a million of people just like us. I see it with musicians all the time. particularly rappers. All these guys that are breaking out on the scene sound exactly alike to me. The guy that's coming out now sounds just like the guy that was coming out before. All the truly original guys seem to have hung up the microphone. You just don't seem unique. Still making music. Sometimes they make good music, sometimes they don't, especially if it's mumble rap. No offense, but it's crap. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think I can stand by that. Not my thing. Never liked it. Please do not ever try to create a gospel mumble rap album. Please. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Ironically, well, I think I might be proving my point. So, these I call it foolhardy displays, but what it really is it's ego. Run amok. And guess what gets people killed faster than anything you can think of? It's ego. It's ego that makes a man stand up and talk stupid things that gets him hurt. It's ego that makes a man pull one of those here's my beer things that gets him in the hospital. It's ego that causes a man to push too hard, too far, too fast, which can cause him his job, his family, insert here. It's time to let it go. Don't let people know what you've got. You want to tell old war stories about your time doing this or that, whatever. All right, I get it. It's good to reminisce a little bit, but the tough guy crap, the I'm this and I'm that. Why in the world would you want your competition to know what you can do? I've never understood it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Biblically, it's problematic when you start to act like you are all everything, because the Bible puts forward a plain and simple idea. We're servants of God, and we're servants of each other. Servants aren't the hot commodity, the hot ticket. No one dreams of being a servant. But I'll tell you this, when you start to let go, truly let go of things that just don't matter anymore, when you start to free yourself, because all of that weighs on you, this idea that you have to live up to, it weighs on you and it becomes so tiring. People tire you out. But the funny thing is, the issue, to give this a devil's advocate, is not the tough guy displays themselves, it's that as you start to walk the path, the need for the tough guy stuff begins to fall away. And you start to find all these things that used to be so important to you don't matter anymore, and you do become a little bit intolerant of these things. Getting into pissing matches with people that just don't matter. Trying to win arguments that won't actually accomplish anything just doesn't matter. Trying to prove that you are the baddest man on the planet just doesn't matter anymore. And I think you start to lose the necessity of it. This intolerance is not that they're doing it. It's that you see it, realize what it is, and you kind of shake your head a little bit and you walk on. And the energy you find you now have to put on things that do matter, things that feed your soul, things that help you become more than what you were, it's got to be so much better than what we're dealing with now. Why do we keep things, people, even jobs in our life that don't feed us? Why do we keep dealing with people, places, things, jobs that make us suffer? Do we feel on some level that we need to suffer with these folks? I don't know. I think, ironically, in the Bible, there are two great commandments: to love God and to love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? I think more people are successfully doing the number two part of that because they don't like themselves. So, how can you like someone else if you don't even like yourself? And so, over time, that wound in your spirit becomes, well, it starts to bleed. And it bleeds all over everyone and everything around you. And at a certain point in time, whether it's for a spiritual reason or maybe you're growing a little bit older and you're starting to realize you just don't want to put your energy on these kinds of things anymore, but you start to work on the wound. You start to confront it a little bit. You start to deal with it a little bit. And it starts, not always, but sometimes, to heal. It starts to not bleed so much. And then you see this other person walking around with a wound in their spirit just like yours. And on one hand, you're so sympathetic for what they're going through. On the other hand, it drives you a little crazy because you've gone through it, and what worked for you probably won't work for them. So you can't even help them. You just have to watch them deal with their wound and hope that the poison that's in their spirit won't overcome their spirit and cause them to become something less. So this foolhardy displays, I want to give you all some homework. I want you to go over this. I want you to take a look at times when you've tried to put on these tough guy displays, and I want you to do a little bit of thinking, okay? I want you to consider the effect that you've been having on people around you. I want you to think for a minute about how you can start to take a look at the wounds that are in your spirit and how you can start to mend them a little bit, because that is a far better thing than trying to simply cover up the wound as the blood goes through your fingers. It's time to face some of the demons in our closet. It's time to look at ourselves and say, I don't like that about myself. This is what I got to do. And it's time to do it. It's time to stop the tough guy crap and be a tough guy, so to speak. If you're really about that business, you're not going to say anything. You don't have to. A lion is a lion. Everyone and every animal knows a lion. It doesn't have to defend itself. It is. So that's what I want to leave you with today. If you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comments. You have any video suggestions? I want to hear from you. If you've got an idea on something I need to talk about, or if you think I'm full of it even, send me a comment. I'll take a look. I read all my comments. I love all of my subscribers. I want to let you know God loves you and I love you. Take care. God bless. We'll talk next time.